What's up, y'all? Cam and Chris.
Chris and Cam.
Back again.
Back again.
This time we got who are the Louis Park Westside Bloods, the insane story of Stockton Asian blood gang. So did we ain't getting no story on MB Nail and all them, right? Like we don't know. Cause this the other side.
Well, we saw was that MB Nail that is that his name? That we saw in the when we did the story on Vance, and it had the
MB
people
Nail,
he got arrested with.
Oh yeah. So we saw that, but
we saw that, but we didn't see
we didn't see
but that was focused on him only,
right.
pretty much.
I didn't see the MB Nails, Joe Murray's,
right. We just
TC Lowe's
it was
and all
him.
them.
Yeah.
So now these the other side with that stupid young at the bottom. That's Javin 2900.
Oh yeah, that's Javin 29. I couldn't think of his name.
I don't know who
that. I was about to say. Okay, but let's see.
Go.
Today, we're going to talk about the Louis Park Bloods. This Stockton gang has an insane history and have been in the headlines for a lot of crazy activities, including gang wars, multiple murders, and several robberies. And they've had a lot of reputable members who have earned the gang its respect, so they definitely have a story to tell. Yeah. All right. Welcome to Cali's Most Dangerous. Let's get into it. On August 25th, 2012, known Louis Park Blood members Deshaun Mitchell, Edward Scott, and William Tyson went to the house of Anthony Holliday on West Florida Street in Stockton, California. During the visit, they went into Holliday's room with him and talked amongst each other as they bought marijuana from Holliday. After a few minutes, the men left the residence and took a taped shotgun that was sold to Holliday's friend earlier in the day. Later in the same day, they returned to the West Florida Street residence with the taped shotgun. RV, another resident of the West Florida Street house, was the only one home though, and he was uncomfortable having the men in the house, so he gave them a marijuana joint, lit it for them, and escorted them out of the door, saying he had to leave, and locked the door. Before RV went into the bathroom and called Holliday. After being escorted out though, the Westside Blood members stayed outside the house, knocking on the door. While on the phone, RV told Holliday that he felt the Blood members were trying to rob him. And about 20 minutes later, Holliday returned with MC and some other friends. When Holliday arrived,
that wasn't Stupid Young. Did I say Stupid Young? No, that's Bounce Back Meek.
Oh, I told you. I wouldn't
Bounce
know.
Back Meek got the mullet and all the face tattoos. That was the one with the glasses. Yeah.
Okay.
Stupid Young is
the did one from him the other day, right? Okay.
Stupid Young is the older one. He real laid back, cool. Always got on the baseball hat.
Okay.
Got the kind of chubby face, but not really. Yeah.
He and the Westside Blood members entered the house and went into Holliday's bedroom. MC remained in the living room though. While the men were talking, RV heard a conversation between Holliday and Tyson that sounded ominous, with the darkness in Tyson's voice, so he decided to leave. Alone in the living room, MC heard, in her own words, a loud noise, like something being pushed over, followed by sounds of a gunshot. After MC heard the noises, MC could hear Holliday trying to talk while struggling, so she ran outside and called 911. During the commotion, Eric T., also a resident of the West Florida home, came into the front door. As Eric entered the door, he heard shouting and a loud sound coming from Holliday's room. He heard Holliday saying, be cool," followed by loud noises, like a dresser being slammed into a wall and a scuffle taking place. Eric ran to the bedroom where the door was closed. He tried to open the door, but there was resistance, but he put his shoulder into it and barreled through. Inside the room, he saw Mitchell holding a shotgun pointing at Holliday. Eric saw Tyson using a taped shotgun to hold Holliday's arms and immobilize him. Both Tyson and Holliday were standing and Holliday was bleeding. Eric hit Tyson and Eric, Holliday, and Tyson tumbled into the bed. Eric yanked the taped shotgun away from Tyson, but realized that it was...
I'm lost.
Already.
I'm lost because he's saying real names and we don't know real names.
And he's showing faces of other people while he's telling the story of
right. So do we supposed to take from that when he say Tyson and he's showing Javin 29,
right,
we supposed to think.
I don't know. That's why I'm like, well, wait a minute. And he just going, the story is going on MC. I guess it's some girl who was in the living room. I don't know who left, who came in, who did. I'm already confused.
Maybe it's gonna come together. Let's see.
It wasn't functional. As Eric yanked the taped shotgun away from Tyson, but realized that it wasn't functional. As Eric struggled with Tyson, Scott hit Eric in the face with the handgun. Eric grabbed the barrel of Scott's handgun and grabbed Scott by his hair, pulling him down. In that process, Scott's handgun discharged 3 times. Meanwhile, Holiday crawled in the corner of the room. Eric and Scott fell to the floor and Tyson kicked Eric in the head 3 to 4 times. Holiday told Eric a few times to let go of the handgun and Scott's hair, and Eric complied. Mitchell pointed the shotgun at Harris, and then all 3 blood members left the room. They fled through the front door, taking Holiday's shotgun. Other residents of the home tried to help Holiday, who had blood dripping from his shorts. In the process of helping Holiday, Eric saw a pocket knife that belonged to Holiday on the floor in the bedroom. He had not seen the knife during the altercation though. The residents took Holiday outside where they had met the police and paramedics. By that time, Holiday was unresponsive, and unfortunately, he later died. Holiday was shot from a distance of about 5 feet. Shotgun pellets, along with a shot cup, entered Holiday's body through his scrotum, traveling upwards and transected his iliac crest. A person suffering this type of injury will be able to talk for several minutes, but will bleed out within 10 minutes. On the day after the murder, Scott sent a text message from his cell phone to a person named Eggy. The message contained a photograph of Holiday's shotgun used in the murder. The message stated, "You know anybody trying to trade this for 2 little hand things?" 2 little hand things referred to handguns. Police searched Mitchell's residence and found a 9mm home were shot from that 9mm handgun. Mitchell was treated for 2 stab wounds on the day after the murder, wounds to his chest and posterior thigh. A criminalist collected body fluid, including some blood found on the unknown part of Holiday's pocket knife found on the floor of Holiday's bedroom after the murder. DNA analysis of the body fluid showed that it was a mixture of at least 2 individuals. Holiday was included as a major contributor, and Mitchell could not be excluded as a minor contributor. Ultimately, due to forensic evidence and several witness testimony, Deshaun Mitchell, Edward Scott, and William Tyson were charged and convicted of robbery and sentenced to a term of 50 years to life. Man, by any means necessary is what it seems like with this gang. Look, y'all pay attention to that story because it plays a big part in the gang's current state. And man, believe me when I say shit gets deep. Yeah, trust, that's just one story too. It's a lot more crazy stories about the Louis Park Bloods that we're about to get into, and they get much more wilder. Before we get into that, let's address the danger rating of the Louis Park Bloods. The Louis Park Bloods received a danger rating of an 8.8 out of 10 based off of the gang's history in Stockton, California. That's just my opinion though. What do y'all think? Would y'all went higher or lower? Y'all let me know in the comments and give me some stories on why. Look, y'all heard one story. It's a lot more we're about to get into because this gang has been making headlines since its foundation. But let's get into who these guys are as we explain who are the Louis Park Bloods. California is a state with numerous prominent cities and counties. In the South, you got Los Angeles, which has attractions like Universal Studios, Anaheim, which has Disneyland, and numerous other places. And up north, you got San Francisco, which has the world famous Golden Gate Bridge, and Oakland, which has a rich black history in the state. Oh yeah, we can't forget about Stockton. This city is known for its fuck it, I ain't got nothing. Nah, I'm playing. Stockton is one of the most diverse cities in America, with it being voted the most racially diverse city in America by the U.S. News in 2020. It has the California Delta, which boasts over 1,000 miles of waterways, but also has a history of having one of statistically the highest homicide rates in California. And just like Southern California, this city is home to Crips and Bloods and Mexican gangs like Norteños. But to go deeper, it's home to the Louis Park Westside Bloods. This gang is located on the west side of Stockton, but are known across the area. If you know Stockton, California, then like I already mentioned, you know about their high homicide rates, the gang activities, the poverty, and the institutional neglect, and this gang is no exception from all that. The Louis Park Bloods area has a one-way in and one-way out, and it's a very rough part of town. So rough to the point to where police in the area have been mandated that when called out to this area, 2 or more units must accompany each other. When it comes to territory, the Westside Bloods occupy the already mentioned Louis Park, with the rest of the area stretched through Pixie Drive. And from the jump, these guys were known to hold down their area. Their area has gotten so bad to the point to where there was a gang injunction on May 20th, 2016.
Based upon documented shootings, murders, and attempted murders, which occurred in 2015. The agencies initiated a collaborative effort to A, identify those gang members and associates
on this board behind them
participate in or carry out next violent crimes.
Operation Bloodline resulted in the arrest of 52 people and 22 firearms seized from the gangs. This gang injunction focused on several gangs, including the Louis Park Bloods, and for good reason too. This gang is notorious for its means of operation and its violence. An example of this gang's violence played out in 2008.
Yeah, you gotta go out of town to go party because Stockton's so small, you might run into somebody you know and it might get ugly.
Members of the Westside Blood street gang considered the Louis Park area in Stockton, California to be part of their territory. Hostility between members of the Bloods and members of an Arsenio street gang erupted in the 2008 New Year's party, and exchange of words and gunfires ensued. Some Bloods believe that John Tillis, also known as John Jr., an Arsenio, shot at Blood members at the party. And there was another exchange of gunfire on January 25th, 2008. Well, 2 weeks later, on February 8th, 2008, John Jr. was at Louis Park with his family and friends, wearing a red sweater, a red belt with a number 14 on the belt, signifying the letter N for Nathaniel, red and black shoes, and a red and black hat. Red is the color associated with Nathaniel's. While at the park, one of the family members noticed 4 men walking towards John Jr. One of the men wore a black hoodie and a red bandana over his nose and his mouth. John Jr. recognized the man in the red bandana as Beast, somebody he knew from the neighborhood as affiliated with the Westside Bloods. At trial, Prune admitted that he was known as Beast and he was the man in the red bandana. Prune pulled the bandana down his face and spoke to John Jr. in a loud and aggressive voice. He called John Jr. Lil John and asked what's up. We're your friends. Prune told John Jr., I got you now. You slipping. And said that John Jr. was lucky he was with his friends, otherwise Plume would blow him then and there. And as he was walking out, Plume called out Westside Bloods as one of Plume's companions bobbled up and down and made hand gestures, and he also said Westside Bloods. In the midst of all that, Plume pulled out a MAC-10 type firearm and pointed it at John Jr. as his friends and family began to run away. John Jr. told Plume that they were...
So,
Okay.
he said, I'm not gonna do nothing to you because you with your family.
Right. You lucky.
So and he walks away. As he walking away, they start yelling out stuff and throwing hands like
Which people? The one who said you lucky I won't shoot
No,
you?
the other one.
His people. Him and his people. So now that made him pull out the gun.
that made him turn around.
and start. Now he like, oh, so now y'all want to keep talking.
Yeah,
Cause even I said I was done. I was leaving.
that can't be true.
Right? I don't
Why would you do that?
Why he come with a mask on? I mean, the scarf over a bandana over his face just to pull it down to talk to him.
Because he wasn't gonna do nothing.
But he know you came to do something. So that still mean like
I'm saying
you got,
if you see the op, you know they're gonna do something. You should. That's a given.
that's a given. But you don't know what the op like.
Do it matter?
It does matter
He
because
from the
now
other
I
side don't matter
know
who did it.
it does matter because now I know it's you. So
Like-
I could come for you, not just all the ops. Now I may want you.
Like J-Bo just said, I ain't got nothing against him. I
I
just shot him
know, I
because he's
get
from
that
over there. They
too.
gonna shoot you because you from
But
over there.
guess
Don't
what?
matter.
But now I know it's you. I still want them and you. I really want you.
I see
You get what
you're
I'm saying?
But the whole thing about doing all this stuff is they want the recognition. They want to be known as the one who did it.
So that's why I said. why
Only
you
reason they
calling
hide
good?
their faces for the police, not for the gang.
Well, if people saw you do it, well, people.
I'm
Don't
saying, what's the
snitch.
purpose
People
of
don't
doing
tell.
it if
I
nobody
forget.
know? Like,
People don't tell on people, so.
in their minds,
Okay, so that's good. So he said, "I'm gonna leave you alone
because you with your family.
because you with your family." Yet they still decided to throw up their gang signs.
And yeah, West Side
whatever,
Bloods, or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
He pulls out his Tech 9
Mac 10.
Mac 10. Okay. And let's see what happens. Okay.
said Westside Bloods. In the midst of all that, Prune pulled out a MAC-10 type firearm and pointed it at John Jr. as his friends and family began to run away.
What?
And you do
John
it with
Jr.
your
told
family?
Prune that there were kids around and they would handle it another time.
Right.
According to John Jr., a gang member dictated that the gang members do not handle business when family, especially children, are around. Prune told John Jr. and his group to get out of the park, and John Jr.'s father said they would leave immediately, as Prune and his companions walked away.
So why even approach him if they don't do stuff, if it's a rule not to do stuff in front of your family and kids? Why even say something to him at that
Maybe
point?
just letting them know you slipping. I could have got you.
He did say he was slipping. He did tell him
Right.
that, but it don't matter if I'm with my family and kids. You're not gonna do it no way.
John Jr. didn't yell anything.
Yeah, that's a rule. I mean, it ain't
Right.
a rule.
He
That's
didn't
just
do it.
good
That's
gang
it. So,
etiquette
and
or
it
gang
happened. He
rule.
didn't do nothing.
But that don't mean people don't do it. They
Well,
still
we
do
know
it. We
people
know.
don't, but if you wasn't, But if you following that code,
Street
then
code,
just
yeah.
leave it alone.
No, you gotta let you know, boy. You slipping, I almost got you. You gonna
slipping.
let them know.
You could have did that just by riding past, like. Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm gonna walk up to you and tell you in your face.
Come on here.
And you doing all the gang and stuff and saying that now you putting everybody in danger.
He still pulled the gun out and all that, and it was making so bad. They came over to do all that. His friends or whatever, throw off their gang signs, get them going, and then they take off running. Like, what y'all thought was gonna happen when y'all came over there being all tough?
Right, when he walks away, yeah.
Because
you weren't gonna do nothing no way.
Right. Then y'all take off running.
He finna do so.
Let's see.
Or challenge anybody from the group. Paynes walked away. John Jr. didn't yell anything or challenge anybody from the group, neither anybody that he came with. And although Jr. had a 9mm semi-automatic handgun with him, he did not pull out his gun during a confrontation with Prune. John Jr.'s group ran to their cars and left the parking lot quickly. But as they were leaving, gunfire erupted as the line of cars drove off. John Jr. heard gunshots coming from an area in the park with picnic tables and saw muzzle flashes where he had seen Prune and his companions walking. The shooters aimed at the fleeing cars while running alongside or towards the cars. John Jr.'s father heard close to a dozen gunshots from what sounded like 3 guns and saw muzzle flashes coming from inside the park. After we heard gunshots, John Jr. grabbed his gun and fired 12 or 14 shots at the people in the park. After he fired his gun, John Jr. heard 10 more shots coming back towards him. A bullet consistent with the 9mm cartridge pierced the driver's side of a family member's car, which hit Aaron's left lung and caused him to bleed to death. A criminalist concluded that the bullet that killed Aaron was most likely fired from a 9mm semi-automatic pistol consistent with the Mac-type firearm. Evidence showed that 5 firearms were used in the February 8th shooting. 2 9mm handguns, a .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun, and 2 .38 caliber revolvers. John Jr. and his father identified Prune from the photographic lineup. John Jr. told police Beast was the person who confronted him at the park. A search of 2 addresses.
They told?
What?
I mean, I ain't saying I ain't against it or for it. I'm just saying.
That's what I just said. I said, oh, well, they do say you're not supposed to tell. So
I'm saying y'all had a shootout. Like,
it was a shootout and somebody got killed.
Wow.
Dresses associated with Prune due to the red bandana and albums containing photographs of Prune and others displaying gang hand signs and wearing red clothing. In the end, Prune and his co-defendants were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder. All right, so we addressed a few stories about the Louis Park Bloods and went over a little bit about who this gang is, but let's go over the history of the Louis Park Bloods.
Oh my.
The Louis Park Bloods history and formation is based off of the demographics of Stockton, California. 2 of the biggest populations of Southeast Asians in the United States is in Massachusetts and California. This was due to the Cambodian genocide, which unfortunately took the lives of over 2 million Cambodians. In 1975, led by Pol Pot, the rebel group of Khmer Rouge took over Cambodia and began a period of massive repression and genocide. Over the next 4 years, nearly a quarter of the population was either murdered, tortured, or starved. Because of this, a lot of the refugees fled the country to escape war and came to the United States in hope of a better life. This brings us to California. Large groups of Southeast Asians began to move in different counties in the states, in places like Long Beach, Los Angeles, and Stockton. And trust, these weren't the prominent areas next to the beach or across the street from a shopping center California is known for. Nah, the new locals who work in the areas already flowing with gangs, drugs, and violence. They would have to adapt from one war to another. Most gangs in California back then were created to protect themselves against enemies and to have a brotherhood to depend on. This was also the case for the Louis Park Bloods, a foundation, a brotherhood, a family. The Louis Park Westside Bloods was formed in the 1980s. And from the jump, these niggas was completely with the action. When it comes to races, they're mostly a Southeast Asian gang. However, they have many other ethnicities as well. It's whites from the set, some blacks, some Mexicans, all that. You just can't be no weirdo. And you gotta be handy with the steel too. You never know when it's time to do a drill, fool. Bars, nigga. Rivals are the Louis Park Bloods. The list of rivals isn't too crazy based off of the area. It's kind of spread out in, Stockton, but they're known to go at it hard with their enemies. A few rivals of the Louis Park Bloods include the Asian Boy Crips, the Little Rufus Crips, and some Centennial gangs as well. Prominent figures from the set. The Louis Park Bloods have had several members who have helped make the gang what it is today. A few members from the set that have been putting in work include Radillac, Deshaun Mitchell, Edwin Scott, and William Tyson. The Westside Bloods have also had a few rappers over the years who have been putting in work for the set locally. A few of them include Bolo and Red Dog. But they also have had some rappers who have been putting the city on the map recently. One of them includes Bounce Back Meek. Yeah, bro hard, crazy vivid lyrics, and the way that he puts together his story is crazy. Like his beat selection is like a Bay Area style, which complements his raps, man. Y'all definitely gotta tap in, man. Check him out if y'all haven't already. Also, it's Javon 2900. This nigga got bars too. His hooks is what draws.
Did he say Javon? So is it Javon or Javon? Am I tripping?
Also, it's Javon 2900. This nigga got bars too. His hooks is what draw you in, but once you really start listening, you hear some crazy flows in his raps. Y'all definitely gotta tap in, man. Let me know if I'm missing any of the rappers. Also, I tried to look up some other OGs and members who are only with us, but I couldn't find any. So
yeah, Bounce Back Meek and him.
And that's it?
Yeah, because all the other ones like the MB Nail, Stupid.
Now what's the
Stupid Young?
What's the one that's in jail?
TC Low.
Yeah.
They all Crips though. Like the only Bloods we know are them two. I mean, we probably seen other ones, but the ones
I don't know how to put them out.
The big ones.
Who was with who against who?
The Javin and Bounce Back Me got the two from that side.
Okay.
All the other ones been Crips.
Okay.
Even the EBKs, the MBs, and
the ABs,
Stupid Youngs.
The Asia boys.
Yeah, they all Asia boys.
No, because remember somebody said something about
side.
Yeah, they all Asian boys, but it's something different about them, right? Because that's what happened with TC Low and MB Nail, right? How they fell out.
They fell out because he said he was a snitch and he was. That's
but when they end up being
they
separated,
all Asian boys. Yeah, but they
they two different sides
but they both
or something.
Still Crip, yeah.
Okay. Oh my God.
But it's just them little groups.
Look, I can't. My brain can't do all this after the whole day of work.
Come on, you gotta
too much. I can't work all day and try to figure this out. This like the whole. Well, this is one job.
You gotta study. We gotta take notes. Like, okay. Let me see. Write that down.
Right. I wasn't prepared for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But look, thank y'all for watching. We're gonna check out some more of this because he's crazy.
Sheesh.
It's so crazy that how you see black people grew up in this stuff, but you feel like other races when you see them doing the same thing. You like Hispanics for sure because they just like us. But when you see Asians and other people, it's like wow,
right? It's like what is going on?
What the hell?
Is this for real?
It's for real.
What?
Like, they come from the struggle like us. I
guess so.
But look, hey, money is money. You ain't got none.
Hey,
that's all you got. Y'all like, subscribe though.